Cowboys safety Donovan Wilson. A flurry of moves. Shannon, you first. After yesterday's decisions, do you consider the Cowboys a Super Bowl contender or a pretender?
Nothing's changing my mind. You are pretenders. Skip, in health and nutrition, that says you cannot exercise a bad diet.
That is a fact.
In football, your defense cannot overcome poor quarterback play. So you can sign Aaron Donald, and your quarterback plays bad, you're going to lose. You go back and look at the Jets. As good a defense as they had, they couldn't overcome that poor quarterback play. Go look at Buffalo. They was cruising right along until Josh Allen started turning the ball over. They couldn't overcome that. You look at the Dallas Cowboys, fifth in points allowed, third in sacks, ninth in red zone touchdowns allowed. They couldn't overcome Dak in that play.
First in takeaway.
Oh, my good. Y'all let it take away.
2 years in a row.
The first time, you got to go back 50 years. You got to go back since I think 73. They did it 3 years in a row.
Steelers.
73, 74, 75. Steelers.
Steel curtain. Yep.
So first in takeaway, third in sacks, fifth in points allowed, ninth in red zone touchdowns, and you lost to San Francisco, who only scored 19 points.
Yep.
So in other words, it's true. If you can't exercise a bad diet, you can't overcome poor quarterback play. So now what you going to sign? Okay, you signed Stephon Gilmore. So instead of giving up 17 points a game, you give up 15. Dak throws 2 pick sixes, you lose 15-10. Huh? Okay, you signed Aaron Donald. So now you hold him to 12 points. And guess what? You lose 12-10. You're going to have to fix what the problem is, Skip. That's the thing. See, you know what? That's what medicine, you didn't realize that. See, medicine is not to cure you. It's to relieve the problem.
Okay. So, Shannon Sharpe, late last night, I thought of Hans Gruber in Die Hard when he got the detonators back, and he said, "We are back in business." We, the Dallas Cowboys, are back in business.
To do what?
My strength had a weakness last year. My defense had a fatal flaw in it, a glaring flaw. The corner opposite Trevon Diggs. And Trevon Diggs sometimes can be a fatal flaw because he is a cluer and a gambler and a torchable component to said defense. I needed somebody I could trust. I needed a bookend corner who had high credibility, a bookend corner who could make a Pro Bowl, who could be first-team all-defense, who could solidify and clarify and bring credibility to the defensive backfield. And I got what I didn't even know was my number one choice because I didn't know he was available. I kept saying, I want Jalen Ramsey. Well, he's torchable too. He's got a big ego. He can get over-emotional occasionally and let his emotions run away with him. Stephon Gilmore is a pro's pro.
Yeah.
You know it, and I know it.
Darius Slay is about to become available.
Okay, well, but I'll still take Stephon Gilmore because he's been there and done all that. He's a big game, big play playmaker, and I know big play Slay was that.
Yeah.
I'm shocked the Eagles just whacked him. They just said, done. We want Bradbury. They said, Bradbury's the guy.
Right.
We're going to give him the money, and you talk a big game. You sort of act a big game, but we don't think you play as big a game. And so, really, you're going to...
Skip, I was listening to something you just said, and I wrote it down. You said you needed someone that you could trust.
Yeah.
What about on offense? Do you need somebody you can trust?
Okay. I don't know if I can trust Tony Pollard's surgically repaired ankle.
I wasn't talking about Tony Pollard.
Let me ask you this. How hard is it for a quarterback to do this, just to do here? I can do this,
hold on.
right?
You paid that man $40 million to do that? You paid him $40 million to do that? Or you paid him $40 million to do this?
Just pass the pigskin. You just hand the pigskin. How about just hand it off? Just hand it to Tony Pollard. Or flip it to Tony Pollard.
So, Jerry,
let's utilize Tony Pollard, because if it's true that Zeke's about to be an ex-Dallas Cowboy, I don't know if they'll try to re-sign him at no money.
Right.
But the point is, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy for Zeke because I'm going to miss him, but we all missed him. He got his money, and then he hit the wall. Wow. Last year, they featured Zeke. All the bulk of the carries went to what was left of Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
What if Tony Pollard starts to take over the offense? Okay?
So in other words, you think y'all gonna be what the Tennessee Titans? Y'all gonna run the ball like they did with Derrick Henry, huh?
Well, I just think you can become even more of a running team. That's what Mike McCarthy says. I wanted to run the football, and Kellen Moore wanted to light up the scoreboard. And now Mike McCarthy is going to be calling the play.
Well, I mean, all Jerry Jones did was sign somebody else that could pick Dak off in practice. Okay. So I mean, at least you get used to it. You know what you're gonna get come game day.
Maybe he'll make him a little better. Maybe he'll make him a little more careful. I don't know. Okay, with Dak Prescott. Okay. He got his money. You know what happened? He was actually pretty good going up to the time that he got into it with Jerry Jones. He had some big games and big moments. And then all of a sudden, he went to contractual war with Jerry Jones, and he started to choke. He just started to crumble right before your very eyes. And yet he still got his money.
Got his money.
Because in the end, Jerry just threw up his hands and said, I don't have a plan B. Took Jerry to the cleaners, then he took him to the bank.
And you're going to have to do something next year because they did something with his contract this year and pushed it into next year.
They did.
Next year is like $60 million cap hit. So you're going to either have to release Dak Prescott or you're going to have to, guess what, give him an extension.
Okay, which is why I got so desperate. I said, let's trade him straight up for Aaron Rodgers. But Green Bay is saying, we don't want your problem. We like Jordan Love. They probably like Jordan Love right now more than they like Dak Prescott. They got to see Dak up close and personal at Green Bay. We led 28-14 going to the fourth quarter. And then what happened? We had the ball 5 more times and scored exactly 0 more points.
Y'all did that?
How do we do that? I don't know.
I mean, it's bad.
Okay. Well, maybe Stephon Gilmore will help alleviate some of that problem.
I'm looking at my notes. I wrote this down. You said fatal flaw. You said the fatal flaw we had was the guy opposite of Trayvon Diggs.
Yes.
How is that a flaw when you're number 1 in takeaways, you're number 3 in sacks, and you're 5th in points allowed? So I'm trying to figure out what the fatal flaw was.
Okay. Well, I saw Anthony Brown try to stop people at the opposite corner. Then I saw Boss Man Fat that they spent and probably wasted a second-round pick on.
He did
then
that.
I saw Nashawn Wright, another draft pick, and then I saw Mackenzie Alexander, who sort of came out of nowhere. He once upon a time was pretty good, and then he tried it, and then Trayvon Mullen tried it, and everybody. It was a parade of opposite corners, and the opposing quarterback was licking chops, saying, "I'm going there, I'm going there, I'm going there, I'm going after that guy."
So let me ask you how hard this would be. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, how many guys you think can miss 5 games and lead the league in sacks? Miss 5 games and lead the league in rushing? Miss 5 games and lead the league in receptions? Miss 5 games and lead the league in interceptions? Your guy missed 5 games and led the league in interceptions. And yet you tell me the fatal flaw was your defense?
Well, I didn't say the fatal flaw. I said it had one weakness. The strength of my team had one weakness, and now it's shored up. We just might have the best 2 quarterbacks in football.
How do you overcome the quarterback play?
Okay. Well, you do it by playing better defense. So the defense is going to be even better than it was last year.
So hold the team.
Micah Parsons will be a little better in year 3 than he was in year 2.
So would Dak be any better than last year?
No.
Well, you ain't going nowhere then.
Okay. Maybe they run the football more. Maybe they figure out how to win lower scoring games. Maybe they figure out how to put their defense into more and more positions to close deals.
You told me Jerry liked box office.
Okay.
Running the football ain't box office.
Stephon Gilmore might have been just what the doctor ordered to hold on to a 28-14 lead at Green Bay and to hold on to, I can't remember what the lead was. It was a 3-touchdown lead at Jacksonville.
Skip, you know, my daughter, she's going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
The money is not in the cure. The money is in the treatment. And all you doing is treating your problem.
No.
When you could cure it.
Okay, but it's called strengthening your strength, and we just did that.
What about that weakness?
We got a big-time player at
Skip, what about that weakness?
Okay, but he's not awful. He's just not very good, right? Okay, so he's middle-of-the-pack Dak. Well, you can, again, they're Super Bowl odds. As we speak right now on Fox Bet, they're the 6th best odds.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty odd. They're the 3rd best odds in the NFC, behind San Francisco and Philadelphia.
But here's the problem that you run into, Skip. Your defense is not going to play at a historic level every single game. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, they have a down game. Are you counting on Dak to win you that game? Skip, they gave up 19. And the year before that, you gave up 23, and you really didn't have but 7 points heading into the fourth quarter. I mean, you remember there was a game that you was down 30-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Denver. Okay.
I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. That's not who I am.
You know what? I
like to deliver you bad news,
I think I'm good enough. I think we just might have the best defense in pro football next year, and that can take you places.
I've seen teams that had historic defenses. What about your offense?
Okay.
Remember what the Bears did in '86?
Yep.
How'd that work out for them?
Okay. I know what they did in '85.
Yes.
That worked out.
Because you got, ran the football, Walter Payton, I think Neil Anderson was also there.
He was. Walter Payton was kind of on his last legs that year, but Jim McMahon was decent.
Yes.
And he did not turn the football over.
Ta-da! Turnovers.
Yep. That's what happened. Okay.
You got a guy that turnovers in his DNA. He went on what you call him, Maury? You are the father of those turnovers, Dak Prescott.
They busted him.
Yeah. And he ran out there crying. He ran out. Yeah.
Okay.
But the turnover looked just like it.
I can live with it.
Okay.
Because we are going to turn over the other team more than we turn it over. Okay? We're going to lead in turnover ratio. That's all I care about. Is that not the key stat in pro football? Ratio.
I will make sure I write.
I got the ratio.
I will put this in my calendar. March 15th.
We will lead the league in turnover ratio. Turnover ratio.
We have arrived. Skip Manitoba. March 15th, 8:33. Skip Manitoba. The Cowboys are arrived.
Back in business.
Okay.
Yeah.
You better go belly up again.
No.
Go belly up again.
Defense will carry you a long way.
You said that. Yep. Skip, you said that was your theme. That was your anthem. We'll only go as far as Micah and the Marauders take us.
Yep.
And then what happened?
19 points happened at San Francisco. We got that far. That's exactly where we got.
And what about the 12?
And then the Mr. Irrelevant scored 19, and that was
19.
enough. That was enough.
And a guy to make a 140 mil.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I had Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback.
Scored 12 points.
Yep.
In Dan Quinn, Skip trusts.
I do.
All right, I'm glad you guys brought that point up because the next question I have for you, how much will the Cowboys defense need to worry about the Giants offense after New York's latest move? Let's discuss in just a moment.